The truck was rocking, and there's little kids with their families walking by this truck. It's like, just.
Welcome to the ugly truth.
So I started doing the surveillance, and the day that we went out, I took her with me, followed her actually, because the husband thought she was cheating. Followed her, and she went to a location and ended up picking up a male. So already she was caught, so it wasn't a big deal. But we followed them both in her truck. It was an SUV.
Oh, that's right. It was her SUV.
It was her
yes,
SUV.
it was hers. Yeah.
Followed them down to Harkness Park here in Connecticut. Right. Now I don't know if everybody knows this park. It's it's a pretty big park, but there's a tight little parking area right at the entrance. They pulled in. They pulled to the left, parked in one of the stalls. I pulled in, backed in on the right hand side, and was able to get a nice clear shot of the side of the truck. And
Don't forget, it was packed because it was like a weekend. I remember, right? Like it was a weekend where like everyone was going to the lake or the park or something like that, and it was like a bunch of families. I mean, the cars were parked like really close together. It was a lot of people in that parking lot.
Yeah, it was the dead of summer. I mean, every family from Timbuktu was there. Everybody was out there. A lot of kids. You're right. There was a lot of kids there.
A lot of kids. They were carrying all their chairs and whatever for the lake. I think that was the lake when I first met you with your parents.
Family outing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a family lake.
It was a yearly tradition. They would have the family outing at this park. So I was familiar with it already. I already knew the park.
Okay.
So anyway, so we parked, and you really weren't paying much attention. You were doing something.
I was writing notes. I was working on the weekend, trying to catch up on my paperwork, and I'm just really into my paperwork, and like not looking. We were parked, so we had dead time because during surveillance, like I don't know, like there's not much to do.
Well, normally during surveillance, you have a lot of dead time, but we were actually right in the middle of the action here because we had them together. And so I was in the middle of the action. You were doing paperwork. So what happened was I parked, and you just started doing your paperwork, weren't paying attention, and I just turned around, I got my equipment ready, I just started shooting video because I could see the two of them, a silhouette. I can see through the tinted windows because it was both sides clear. But in the tinted window, I can see her on his lap, and just the up and down and up and down, and the truck is rocking.
I was just saying, was the truck moving?
The truck was rocking, and there's little kids with their families walking by. This truck is like, just the truck was going, man.
Oh my god! So that thing is bouncing like back and forth.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I mean, the balls on these people. I'm telling you, I'm like.
It's pretty ballsy, like I mean,
there's families everywhere. It was crazy. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you get naked in the car with everybody that you could see you? Because obviously, if I can see through my camera, the silhouette, so can everybody else walking by.
Wow. And I remember, one thing I do remember is the cars were packed, like they were tight. Like to get out, you were like squeezing in and trying to get in because everybody wanted to park there. That's one thing I do remember.
That's because that parking area was before you get into the park, before you have to pay. So everybody was cramming in there. You don't want to pay that $10 to get into the park.
Okay, that's why. You wasn't even cheap about that. You didn't have to pay the $10.
I got a free ride in this truck, man. What am I going to pay $10 for? Forget them.
It's like, I'm not paying for that.
You would have been a lot safer, though.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So I think I must have finished my paperwork at that time. And well, no, you closed your camera and you're like, got the shot.
Well, when he was done, I was done. so that's it. It's done.
That was quick.
Not really. It lasted about a half an hour. It was a lot of video. Yeah, but good for her. She was doing all the work.
Well, yeah, the car was rocking, let me tell you.
And obvious rocking, too. Like, if you looked at all the cars in the parking lot, they're all still, there's just one that's just moving all over the place.
You got good shocks, man.
Yeah, I think it was a Dodge something or other.
Yeah, it was like
Dodge.
Yeah, it was like definitely it was an SUV, right?
It was an SUV.
Yeah, I remember that, but I remember you packed up your camera, and I was like, we're done? And he's like, yeah, he's done. I was like, okay, all right. And
all I got to do now is watch him clean up and follow him back home. That's it.
Yeah, I remember that. And then we left. And it was just, to me, it was shocking because honestly, who does that? Like in a family park, that's the thing. It's like, don't you have any like morals? Like, don't you?
Aren't you embarrassed?
Aren't you embarrassed like by that? Come on, like seriously, like your family's going by with like, you know, boogie boards or whatever, you know, and baskets and coolers, and you're rocking it out over there in that you know, SUV.
You gotta get your groove on. You gotta get your groove on.
You know, the worst part is he didn't even pay $10. Like, come on, man. Like, you cheaped out. You cheaped out big time. Was that her car?
That was her car. Yeah.
Wow, but you know what? That's another thing you said. Usually women don't drive.
Yeah, they usually don't. It's, I mean, if you play the statistics, no, they don't. Men always drive. But in this case, for whatever reason, didn't want his car smelling like sex, so he took hers. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Okay, so that is one of the cases where we went to a family lake park, right?
Yeah, that was a good one. Now, my client was pretty devastated afterward, crying like a little baby when I showed him the video, because you can see his wife obviously clearly through the car doing what she was doing. So
it is sad. Don't exactly just crying like a baby, because like it is sad when you catch your cheater. You know, I mean, it's devastating, especially it's in a park, and you know.
Okay, he was crying like a grown man.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's upsetting for, I don't know, you show the evidence, the pictures, or whatever, the video, like, I don't even know. Like, can you even watch that whole thing?
Well, I got some other stories about that.
Oh, I know. That's our next show. Like, it is, yeah. He's got a lot of stories, like a lot of them, but this is just one of them that we just wanted to go back to because it started in the way beginning, but he started way before me. So I do remember this one because I wasn't paying attention. And like you said, if you definitely don't pay attention when you're doing surveillance, you can miss the whole show.
Well, on top of it too, it's not like I was like, "Oh, look, they're doing it, they're doing it." I was just doing my job while you were doing your job, and then
he did his job.
And he did his job.
Yeah,
that's right. He did his job.
Everyone's doing their job.
Gotta work hard these days,
Exactly.
man. Gotta work hard.
Listen, I gave him half an hour. Damn.
He was holding down the fort. Yeah. Made the brothers proud, man.
Me too. Yeah. I don't know. You can't, like, that's a half an hour. Wow. Like, that's in the heat. Was the car on? I don't even remember.
I was too far away with the, you know, from probably like 10 cars away. So I have no idea if it was on or not. I wouldn't know that.
I just remember your camera just being, like, sitting on top of the
yeah, I had it was the headrest thing, I think, right? Was it the headrest or was it a tripod? I can't remember back then. But
no, it was on the dashboard.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it did have its place on the dashboard. You're right.
Yeah, you need a tripod because we were high up over there, mainly from the dashboard. But yeah, you know, like that was just, I don't understand.
Well, you know, got the results. I was happy.
Yeah, that's true. So there's a story. And you know what? If you have any stories, send us an email. You know, want to be on the show. We're going to be interviewing some people too as well in regards to their stories of infidelity and also some attorneys.
Yeah. I have an attorney that I work with who's going to come in and do an interview about a lot of criminal cases. I got another private investigator out of Massachusetts going to come in. A bunch of people. So we're going to start lighting them up, and then we're going to start talking to these people about some juicy stuff.
Yeah, some juicy stuff that you guys are interested in hearing. But if you want to email us, you can email us at
alltruthisugly@gmail.com or ctprivatedetective@gmail.com.
Correct.
This is The Ugly Truth.